Two people who are taking content creation to another level through their partnership.
Nimi and Denis are certainly pioneers in the fashion industry by breaking into the industry as a powerful duo, whilst also successfully thriving as individual talents.
And then suddenly it was like everyone wanted us to do.
They requested that because it makes sense. It's also really unique.
You did the Gucci with iPhone, yeah.
They actually requested it to be shot with an iPhone.
It goes really quickly when you're having a good conversation. Hi everyone, welcome to Influencer Marketing Uncover podcast. I'm Maira Genovese. I'm founder and president of Ep11, a global integrated market agency. We have here in our studio today not only two amazing individual creators, but two people who are taking content creation to another level through their partnership. They have well-established careers and they have joined forces and expertise to expand it even more. And the brands just love them. And to host this episode with me by my side is Steff, our lovely account director here at Ep11. It's her first time co-hosting the podcast and hopefully it's the first of many. Welcome, Steff.
Thank you so much, Maira. I'm very excited to be joining you today on this episode. And I've had the pleasure of working with both of our guests today on our Rose Ink campaigns. Nimi and Denis are certainly pioneers in the fashion industry by breaking into the industry as a powerful duo, whilst also successfully thriving as individual talents, working with brands such as Dior, Tiffany, Prada and Gucci. So welcome to the podcast, girls.
Thanks for having us.
So happy to be here.
Yeah.
First of all, it's amazing that two creators are collaborating together and there is like a willing of helping each other to grow, but then going to that step, to the step of, okay, but now let's collab together and add value to brands on a do. So how this started with the brands?
I think initially it was our idea. We suggested it to a brand and they loved it and the content performed really well. Mm-hmm. And from then onwards, we started getting requests from the brands.
I think the turning point was when we did the Burberry.
Yes.
We did a collaboration for Burberry and it was a real, I don't know if you've seen it, but
it was,
I can't remember what it was for, like the winter collection or something. And then suddenly it was like everyone wanted us to do.
Like they requested that because it makes sense. It's also really unique.
Yeah, because we look different as well. We don't look the same. Yeah. So I think it tapped into like different markets and it covered quite a lot of bases for the brands as well. Burberry was really, really iconic for us, wasn't it? Yeah.
And from there, just
it's just kind of
naturally to crop.
Yeah, and because I think Dior, they wanted us to do it. It was their idea for us to collaborate.
Because brands love like genuine, authentic content where friends are having fun. Like it converts so well, and the fact that we're friends and then we've been doing this naturally, that makes so much sense.
I always love to understand how do you make yourself to look authentic? Because even though you have the aspirational content when it comes to the aesthetic, it feels really authentic to yourself. So tell us a little bit about like the creation process, but nowadays it's so difficult to keep authentic, but how do you manage to continue to have the authenticity in everything you do in post?
Well, I don't think there's a one simple answer to that, because as we've been doing this for so long, our idea of what's an aesthetic or how to create content, it changes literally day by day.
It does, yeah, it does.
If I could give an example, like last year, we both were creating content for brands where maybe like the reels were super romantic and slow-mo and and certain brands still want that kind of content. But actually there's now a shift towards being a bit more cool and edgy and maybe shooting with like a VCR kind of vibe or, almost like...
Even iPhone, like the brands are requesting to be...
You did the Gucci with iPhone, yeah.
They actually requested it to be shot with an iPhone. So brands are going towards that direction. We see it like with the Gen Z coming and thriving.
Yeah.
They prefer more casual and...
So I think like in terms of the authenticity, it's just more, we're always looking one step ahead to see what's coming down the track, what are the trends, what the brands that we work for, what kind of, aesthetic they want, because obviously we need to put ourselves into the content, but you still need to be aligned with their aesthetic. Like today I was looking at a brief for a campaign I have, and I was thinking I can shoot it in this particular way, but then also I still need to look at what they're doing on their feed to see, oh, they've done it like that, so maybe I'll do it like that. We'll put my own spin on it. So that's a way to still be authentic to yourself, but also
Understand the brand.
Understanding the brand. Exactly.
And now that you've been working in the industry for about 10 years, I know you said.
10 years, wow.
You've obviously been a bit more selective with the kind of brands that you can work with, and you've got some amazing brands that you've worked with over the last couple of years, and very much in the luxury space. Where do you kind of see the luxury content going, or like what are luxury brands asking for in their briefs?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I feel like luxury brands, I think they give you more creativity. Like they give you more, they let you do, because they choose you from so many, like the competition is so high and the barriers to entry is so high. I think when they decide to work with you, they already love your content and they're ready to let you be that's my experience. It used to be harder working with the high street brands. I feel like they're really particular. Like I remember you got given a single dress, a red dress that, like, it's never like that. Like you can actually choose because it needs to represent your style or who you are.
100%.
But then we had so many occasions, so many brands that we couldn't be ourselves. Because if you want to work with them, they give you, like, it just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense for the brand, doesn't make sense for our audience. So I feel like even though it's luxury and it feels like it would be harder, it's actually easier, I find.
Are the briefing very defined in terms of what you have to do with the way you have to shoot, or they give you more flexibility?
I feel like if the brand is approaching us, so say for example, I don't know, who's a good example? Burberry.
Yeah,
great example. We worked with them a lot last year, so they gave us a lot of creative directions to do whatever we wanted. It was a specific brief.
but it needs to be nighttime.
Yeah, like, it's a winter thing, we're doing it at night. Off you go. Because they already know the kind of content that we can produce. So they trust that we'll create something in the vision of, Burberry, the aesthetic. And it 9 times out of 10, that's pretty much.
10 times out of 10. I don't remember a single occasion where a luxury brand came to me and said, oh, can you change? Because with the high street brands, I've had so many occasions, like silly things like that. It's not in the brief and they want that out. Or like I had once that animal print, they didn't want the PJs to have animal print. And I had a horse, like it doesn't make sense. But it's never like that. Yeah. And then you have to reshoot the whole thing. But not like luxury market. I feel like it's so much easier because they trust you in your judgment. And you follow the brief, of course. Like they wanted nighttime, we did it at nighttime. But not like, oh, you have red nails. Well, and not like you have your hair on a ponytail. Like they wouldn't come
Be
back.
that strict, which is good.
Yeah.
And go is that.
I was going to say, with that in mind, what is your ideal brief? I'm guessing like as open as possible, but are there any briefs that have stood out that you've like absolutely loved working on?
Hate, I remember Hate, but where it's like so many little details.
I mean, what about the one you've just dropped? You're doing the Dolce & Gabbana
Oh yeah,
with Charles. Have you seen that?
No,
You need to see it. The content
It's
is
the first
amazing.
time it's the first time I think no, it is the first time
You shot with Charles, yeah.
Yeah, first time. The briefs, I think the brief was they wanted couple content,
Okay.
and that's it. That's what
That
they
was
wanted.
it?
That's it. That's actually a really good example. They didn't tell you what color to wear, where to shoot, how, like, but you know what Dolce & Gabbana is, and then you know the outfits and the vibe. But that's it. They just wanted couple content, and
For a specific product or
for 2 fragrances, so female and male.
that's amazing.
And we shot it completely our way. But we forgot to say, with the luxury brands, you always provide the mood board. I think that's why they knew. Like I had to put like what I'm going to wear.
Yes.
The hair, the makeup, everything. You create a brief and you send it to them, and then they sometimes come back and say, actually, that's why I think. But
Always a mood board.
9 times out of 10, it gets approved. But it's very detailed, so they know exactly what they're going to get.
And then normally you work only with luxury brands, or
I think 9 out of 10.
That's 9 out of the 7
I feel like that.
But it happened organically, right?
100%
So it's
organically,
nothing that
yeah.
you go like, we're just going to be like a luxury
No, because
brand.
it's not easy to work with luxury
Yes,
brands.
that's what I'm about to say, because like...
It's hard. It's still hard.
It's harder.
It's still hard.
Yeah. When you say it's hard, it's more hard because there's more talents out there, or it's harder because they're more demanding?
Let me give you an example. If you work with, can I say that? If you work with Dior, you can't work with Chanel. Like that kind of vibe.
Right.
You know, there's
Okay.
a lot
exclusivity and things like that.
Okay. Exclusivity that you have to put in place.
Yeah,
Yes.
and certain brands, I feel like it's really hard. Like, for example, like Prada and Nimi, like they like a certain look.
Yes.
You know, YSL likes a certain look. Like, so you can't, even though you're working with luxury brands. So I can say up and down, you know, oh, I'm working with Louis Vuitton, like constantly. I can go to YSL and be like, I'm working with Louis Vuitton, but they'll shut me down my face.
Yeah.
Yes,
Louis
because of
Vuitton.
exclusivity.
It's not even that. It's more like your aesthetic doesn't fit our aesthetic. So there's that battle within luxury to try and work with these brands, but you might not fit the bill because you've worked with that other brand.
But it's like with exclusivity, I get it in a sense, but what I don't get it, which I question myself quite a lot, is the aesthetic element. Like you don't fit the aesthetic of the brand. You know what? Because we are in 2023. It's all about diversity. Come on, luxury brands. You know, it's all about diversity. So for me to get a brand, because we work with a lot of luxury brands as well, and when they come and say, no, we don't want this influencer because they don't have aesthetic of a brand, but who said, you know, that person needs to be the aesthetic of a brand? Because you're talking about diversity. You know, it's not about being judged, like, you know, about the size of that person, the color of skin, how big is, you know, it's like you need to position your brand as a brand that is welcoming every type and forms, right? Look what happened with Victoria's Secret. We need to start adding diversity on the catwalk because otherwise we're going to face the same, you know, bad press and backlash. So for 1 year, like they start putting diversity on the catwalk because they felt like if we don't do it, we're going to have a bad press around us. But then February this year, I was in Milan for a few shows. There was no more diversity. It's back to normal. And I was just like,
the memories are short.
No, I was just like, what happened? It's just like, you don't do it just for...
They're doing it to tick the box. It's not
to tick the box.
It's not like we need to change. The change needs to happen, but that's why it goes back.
And then it went back, and I was just so like, I think I went to Milan and I saw 3 shows, and I was just like, I can't believe this is happening again. Yeah, this quickly. So it's just not about it's about consistency. It's about embracing it and passing the right message.
Not just ticking a box.
Not just ticking the box.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you feel that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
It's just...
this could be another podcast.
Yeah, this could 100%. Thank you so much for everyone that's been listening to us today. Thank you so much for keeping tuning with every episode of our Influencer Marketing Uncovered podcast. Hope you have enjoyed our conversation with these 2 amazing, powerful women, creators, and that's been working on the industry for 10 years and still keep going very successfully. And again, thank you so much, Steff. If you're not following us, make sure you do so on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, and Apple. And again, thank you so much. And I see you on our next episodes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.